This is Art Talk with April, an artist podcast where we meet artists from all around the southeastern states. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Today we have Dan Tipton again. If you missed part one, go back on to the podcast and check out that episode. This is part two, and we'll get started.
Now, I'm not saying that one should just sit and wait for those opportunities. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying work your butt off.
Yeah, that's what you've been doing for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying work your butt off and do all the things, and opportunity will find you.
Mm-hmm. Keep growing, keep working at it.
Yeah, and the right opportunities too. Some opportunities are not for me.
Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I'm about to take this in a whole nother direction, and I hope you don't get upset with me because I'm going to call you out a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you've recently made a comment on a Facebook post, and it was, no, I don't have any real opinion either way. I just wanted to talk about it, more.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, what an interesting opinion. I wonder if we could talk about that on our, interview when we're talking to each other.
Yeah.
A fellow artist had posted, I think it was like, I don't know, like a live installation thing where people could come in and draw.
Yeah.
And you were asking about like, what is it about that?
Yeah. I don't think it would be bad for me to say who posted that, right? So
No, she's been on the podcast.
Yeah, I listened to hers. Hers was great. No, yeah, so Sam Roberts, right?
Yeah.
I know a couple of people with the last name Roberts, so I get I'm sorry.
No,
Sam, which I would love to meet her in person
she's so
I've followed
sweet.
her on Facebook and whatever for, a few years and whatever. She seems like a great person. I'd love to meet her in person. Anyway, she had posted about this kind of, I guess, installation art or community project, maybe you could call it.
Yeah. It was like people were coming in and doing, scribbling on things.
Yes, it looked like a couple of large sheets of paper rolled out, maybe 50 feet of paper, and people were like scribbling charcoal. And there's one lady, not Sam, but in the video, there was one lady like kind of like sliding across the paper with charcoal on her and all that, whatever. And those types, I don't even necessarily know if it's a type of art, more so as method or medium, maybe art. Those kinds of things have always sort of eluded me, as to why people do them. Because one of my main tenets, or I guess you could say one of my main, I guess you could say like tenets or core beliefs in art is the skill of the thing, the skill of drawing and painting or sculpting or whatever it is, because I truly believe that those things are skills that can be learned and should be taught to everyone, because I believe that they're actual languages. Drawing is an actual language. Sure. Painting is an actual language, just like spoken and written language is a language. And just like written language has grammar and, rules to it and whatever that we all learn, it has an alphabet and whatever. Painting also has rules and characteristics of the language, tools of the language that we should learn. And, just as some people get very, very skillful in writing, I want to be very skillful in drawing and painting. So I believe there's a skill there. I believe there's a skill there. I believe that anybody can learn that skill and that everybody should have the opportunity to. So when I see things like the video that she posted of this installation art, I don't say that it's not art, because who am I to say what's art and who's an artist? I don't even know if I'm an artist. I just say I'm a painter. But I don't want to make that judgment, in other words. But I simply just don't understand why an artist or somebody would be doing that. And so I posed the question,
Mm.
I really just as earnestly as I possibly can right now. I just want to understand
Yeah.
what is, because she said that she was inspired by it, I think is the word she used. I don't understand why you're inspired by that,
Mm.
and I'm like, I want that inspiration too,
Yeah.
so like, you tell me. I don't get it.
Yeah. It was
Maybe it was
fascinating.
jealousy. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want I want to be inspired too, And so, just earnestly, what is that? And she gave a beautiful, beautiful answer. I don't know if you read
I
it,
didn't read all the way through it. No.
but the gist of it was, at least in that particular instance,
Mm.
was the fact that the whole thing was about drawing a community together, the community together, and letting people feel like they can express themselves in a visual form with no skill, with whatever skill that they had, and express deeply, or express whatever it is, and that really hit me. It really helped me understand, because I'm like, oh, that's, like, because that's what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
I might be doing it. I might be a little bit more skillful at the craft, but I'm trying to do the same exact thing. They're trying to express the language just like I'm trying to express the language, and it hit me as, like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I love that idea. I love the idea of drawing community together to be a part of something, to give them the opportunity and access to express a visual language,
Sure.
just like I do, or just like anyone else should or could. And that part of it, is inspiring to me. Because I've had similar ideas. I would love, and I'd actually love to, and I've had this idea for a while. I'd love to design large, mural on a building somewhere or whatever that would allow me to do it, and then cover the whole thing up, and then only reveal small parts at a time, and ask for whomever, a community member, ask or allow whomever, from the community to, paint that section of it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't tell them what it is or anything like that or whatever. I would just, I would maybe control it a little bit more, saying, use these colors here, use those colors there, that kind of thing or whatever. But, do that, and allow them to express in their hand with,
Mhm.
their visual and all that and whatever. And then after the thing is entirely done, have like a block party, invite the whole community, especially those who worked on it, and reveal the whole thing, and let them see, what they were involved in, what they
Yeah.
made,
That's
let them
interesting.
take pride in it. And I would love to do something like that. And I love being able to give access. She also talked about giving access to,
Yeah.
a visual language to anybody. And I mean, I've done free drawing lessons for many, 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 many people that they don't have the means of paying at all, and I love being able to do that, and so I love the idea of giving access to people. Like I said, it's a language, and
Yeah.
it should be taught as a language that people can express in whatever way, in whatever extent that they want to.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, I think I did actually read her comment. And I think that you're right. It was really good. It was a really good way to explain it. Because I've often felt that way myself, like being a person who's doing more, like illustrative kinds of things. And
Representative.
that, yeah, and not understanding or relating to, like abstracts or expressionism kind of things, or, installations where people are able to just do whatever. And what do you call, like, there's like art installations where it's all about the people who are doing the activity, or
Yeah.
they're moving weird and everybody's like standing around watching them move weird. I mean, it's interesting,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean as much or feel as much like what I'm doing because it's not a skill level thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's always kind of made sort of like a barrier there for me personally, as someone who is like trying to do art a certain way
Hmm.
instead of like being more open to just whatever. I've actually been curious, and I'd be interested in knowing your opinion on this as someone who is trying to continually build up your skill and your knowledge, right? Do you ever consider or maybe think that drawing in that way would help your work in the technical sense, like just being expressive and playing versus attempting to, like structure it and do it with skill?
Yeah, my personal philosophy is so like I try to reach a balance between both abstract and representational.
Yeah.
And you can see that in not all of my paintings, but like in this painting, I'm trying to
Yeah.
reach a balance between abstract and representational. And my personal philosophy on that is that I love some abstract painting. I love a lot more representational stuff, and
Mm,
that's just my aesthetic, I guess you could say.
yeah.
But also, too, the way that I approach things is that I put a structure to them. When I draw or when I start a painting, it's very structured. Like very. I draw out a structured drawing, and then I draw like shadow contours and all that and whatever, and then the contour of it and whatever. And so it's like it's I have a very good map for where I'm going in the painting, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And then I lay in my colors and all that and whatever. So I have a value structure, I have a color structure, but then I allow myself to just do a little bit of whatever, if that
Mm.
makes sense. And so my personal philosophy is that I want to create the structure for my chaos to live in.
I gotcha.
And so I have plenty of chaos in my life. And so and in me, I have plenty of chaos in me, and I don't really show it very much, but there's plenty of chaos in there, trust me. But I need a structure in order for that to live in, and I don't want to get carried away with it, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like I'll let it get in there a little bit, and that's
Mm.
that's kind of my personal philosophy on those things, because straight realism, straight representational stuff is, especially like photographic
Yeah, like
or photo,
hyper-realistic.
yeah, hyper
Yeah.
realism or photorealism. I almost don't get the point of it as much as I didn't get the point of something like that in that video,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And I think I brought that up in the
Yeah, I
in the
think you
post.
did too. Yeah.
But like because to me, I'm like there's no the stuff in the post is, like, let me put it this way. The stuff in the post that she posted is like 98% chaos,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The photorealism or hyperrealism is like at least 98% representational or structure, let's say.
Yeah.
And I need to live maybe
In the middle
somewhere in
there. Yeah.
in maybe not 50-50, but somewhere in the middle there.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, because if you have that hyper realism, like I
What's
just
the
don't, I don't
point?
get
Yeah.
it. What's the point? I don't see, it doesn't affect me. I think that art, again, should have that story, should have that narrative. It should affect people. It should either motivate them, inspire them, change them, heal them. It should do something. It
Yeah.
should an elicit a response. Otherwise, I don't know that there's a point in it. But the hyperrealism, that doesn't really elicit a response in me, other
Yeah.
than to say, God dang, that person is
Good
detailed
at
and
drawing
good
that.
good at drawing or whatever. Like
Yeah.
he must have spent 4,000 hours on that thing. Dang. But and honestly, I'm beginning to understand it a little bit more. But without Sam's response to me about that video, or that her commentary about that, it would not that would not have elicited, any kind of response from me either. So just because I'm like, well, that's too much. That's too chaotic. I don't understand why people are doing that.
Yeah.
And so without her commentary on that, I don't think that, it would elicit a response. But now I know, I told her, like an artist's job is to help people to see, help people to
Mhm.
observe accurately, and she helped me observe that accurately. Maybe
Yeah.
if I talked to a hyper realist or a photorealist, maybe they would help me to see accurately in that. And so I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, just all that to say, my personal speed, my personal philosophy, I guess, is to be mainly like create a very, very good structure. Drawing wise, value, a good value structure, a good color structure. And then I'll let my chaotic monster self live inside of that a little bit.
That's fun. That's such a great way to put that. And I think that was another part of that conversation. I couldn't remember how much I read between you guys and that you had brought up the photorealism thing. And I think when I see that, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but when I see that, I think, okay, that person is really in love with like the medium or the process of
The
drawing.
process. Yeah.
They're not necessarily trying to like connect or have a message or do anything with it. They are just immersed in this process, like they're just enjoying that part of it for themselves, is what it feels like to me, because I can't do it.
Yeah. 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 I mean,
Just,
and I get that. I understand that. I mean, to be honest with you, maybe I could be that way with sculpture because
yeah.
I've found that I just like running my hands through
So
mud.
with your sculpture, and I know that you've only done a little bit of it, but did you take a course to do that, or how
Yeah,
did
so
that come
I'm
about?
actually in one of my last courses for my master's degree is this sculpture class I'm taking.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
uh, but it's not a requirement for my degree.
Yeah.
The school also has, of course, I'm majoring in painting.
Yeah.
Master's in my master's will basically be in, it says fine arts, but painting. But they also have a major in sculpture and whatnot. So I had like an elective that I had to use, and I asked to take a sculpture class, and my advisor was like, kind of threw him off and whatever. I was like, yeah, I just feel like it would help me understand the human form a little bit more, as well as be able to make maquettes and whatever for larger paintings and that kind
Yeah.
of thing that I want to do, because I'm more of an I do like to draw observationally. Like I don't necessarily like, but I don't necessarily like to work from photo reference. So,
Mm,
if I can make a maquette or if I can have a model or something
yeah.
like that or whatever. And so that was my original purpose, but I don't know. I'm getting into it and I'm like, I'm already thinking of like these monumental bronze sculptures I want to do. I'm like, dude, this is way
That's so
so far
fun.
off. That's so expensive.
And okay, so you're doing all these courses online. How is that working for you with sculpture? It feels like something you would need to be like in a studio to have all the things and have
Oh,
someone
I have,
physically show. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I have. I mean, I can show you real quick if you'd like.
yeah, I'd like to see.
I mean, I can show you my space real quick too, if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because again, I just feel like I'm fortunate, really, to have the space I do. I have a 20 by 40 building,
Wow. Oh, that's
and
awesome.
so I'm in the process of still walling it up. But I mean,
Yeah.
I have a drawing area.
Oh, that's nice.
I have a
Well,
large wall easel
yeah.
that I built for my painting, and then of course standing easels, and then I have my little sculpture area over here. So, and I can
Wow.
even unwrap this maybe real quick. Little lounge area that I also
Yeah.
have an easel up my pochade box. I mean, I'm blessed. I have a very large area where I can do a lot of things. So
That is so awesome.
maybe I can unwrap this real quick so you can see. I should have done this beforehand.
So, those of you who are listening on the audio podcast, go check out the YouTube so you can see what Dan's talking about. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, it's starting to have a crack. Oh, yeah, so that's
That's
torso that
interesting.
I'm working on.
Yeah. So in a case like that, did you have to like do the building of like the wires and the stuff on the inside and then put the
Yeah, there's an armature made of
armature?
half an inch galvanized pipe under there.
Wow. That's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so I mean it's been fun to learn about, and like I said, that may turn into something, or I may, it may turn into its own thing, or I may just do
That's a
what
cool
I
thing.
had originally intended and just
Yeah.
make maquettes or whatever. And by maquette I just mean grab, it's like this is a little gesture of
Yeah.
somebody, and something like that might help me look at and then get the proportions and the gesture that I need, and then I can, I know enough about anatomy to fill in anatomy in a drawing,
Mm.
so
It's kind of like, I guess it's helping you with like different perspectives of a figure
yeah,
kind of
that's
like you
something
can
I can,
turn it and
yeah, I can turn it, and it helps me to understand, like, I don't know, I feel like if you, for example, if you wanted to draw my portrait right now, I feel like the best way that I could do that, or if I wanted to draw your portrait, is to not only understand your face, but the side of it, the back
yeah.
of it, how your neck muscles wrap up around to
Mm.
behind your ear, and all that, so if I can understand that, if I can, in other words, if I can understand it three-dimensionally, then it helps me to paint it two-dimensionally in a
Mm.
more precise or accurate way, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. And
That
so
is
that was my
interesting.
original intention with the sculpture, just to
But you may
just
have gone down a rabbit hole.
I think I did. And I think I did, and I think maybe it's just that it's new, which,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
That's
We'll
so
see.
fun. So I wanted to mention that, can you tell us about the Gadsden Museum exhibit that's coming up
Yeah.
and that is and how you're preparing for that?
Yeah, so I have a solo exhibit at the Gadsden Museum of Art this September and November. It'll be up all of September and November. And I'm really just finishing up some of the paintings. This painting behind me will be in it. That painting is called Crowned. It's actually of my oldest daughter. And it's all about, she's 17, and, kind of at that age, I remember being shy and, trying to figure my life out, and trying to
Mhm.
figure, step into my confidence, step into who I'm going to be, step into being more confident. And, that's what that's about. So, she's being crowned with confidence is basically what that is about. But anyway, this exhibit will be called Connection, and it's all about how we as people connect with one another or don't, what gets in the way of that, the things that we walk through in life, such as stepping into adulthood or your
Mhm.
confidence, and just how we connect with the world. And so there'll be a lot of variety of different types of work in there. Some of them are more, there's some abstract elements in here. Some of them will be more representational. Most, pretty much all of them are pretty large. I forget the exact dimensions of that, but I have, like 7-foot paintings in
Oh,
that exhibit. It's something I've been working on for like 2.5, 3 years. And so I may not get all the paintings done before that, and we'll see. But I'll have enough work to fill. I'll have the second floor of the Gadsden Museum of Art,
wow.
and I'll have enough work to fill that. And yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I mean, I can't wait for it.
That is fantastic. I'm so excited for you. That is amazing.
Yeah, and so like even with that, we were talking about how opportunities come, and the right opportunities come. That opportunity actually came to me about 3 years ago, I think.
Wow.
And so I've been kind of waiting for it to happen, working on it for about 3 years now. And it came to me just because I went to a figure drawing night at Forstall.
Wow.
If everybody doesn't know what Forstall is, it's an art store and studios in downtown Birmingham. They have a figure drawing. They used to have it every first Tuesday. I think it's Thursday now, but I went to a figure drawing night. No, I'm sorry. I went to a figure drawing class.
Oh, okay.
They had Amy Peterson. I don't know
Uh,
if you know who that is.
yes.
She's a great artist that lives right outside of Birmingham in Trussville. Excellent artist. She was teaching a figure drawing class. It was like 10 weeks or something like that. And I had asked her if I could just pay for the class just because I wanted to draw in front of a model. I said, I don't really necessarily need the class. I just want to come and draw in front of a model. So can I pay per class? And she was fine with that. So she let me pay per class because I couldn't be there every class.
Mm,
And
that's
I was there drawing one day, and I'm not even sure that it was such a great drawing, but somehow we kind of knew each other. She's a plein air painter, and so I've
yeah.
been to events where she was painting and I was painting, so we sort of knew each other. But not well. But I was drawing, and the drawing I was doing wasn't even that great of a drawing. But we started talking, and I was showing her I was working on this series of paintings that I'm working on. It was just some of the first inklings of it. I had some
Yeah.
drawings, I had some rough sketches and stuff like that and whatever. And I think I'd started at the very first painting.
Yeah.
And I was showing her some of that, and she said, well, she gave me the contact for the curator or director at the Gadsden Museum of Art. She said, contact this man, and I will tell him that he needs to give you a show. And she has
Wow.
nothing to do with the Gadsden Museum of Art, but I know that she has shown there before,
Yeah.
and she's kind of well known in the Birmingham area as an
Yeah.
artist. And I don't know if she said I will tell him
I
that.
was gonna say, I
She,
think I
she,
saw that.
but yeah, she said I'll talk to him for you, and you need to contact him.
Wow.
And so anyway, she got me that show. So I mean, just like I
That's
said,
amazing.
work like hell, and then just be ready to walk through the opportunity when it comes, because it's gonna come. It just, I don't know if you've ever read a book called The War of Art. It's by Stephen Pressfield. I was actually
Yeah.
talking about it the other day, but he has this premise in there that the muse or God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, has to find
Mm.
you working. And then it'll give you the idea, the opportunity, or whatever. And I have really found that to be true in my life. I
Mm.
mean, I put my stuff out there. Yeah, for sure. I market myself, on social media, and I do have a website. It needs to be redesigned and all that and whatever. But I put myself out there. But
Mm.
the big anything big that's happened to me and all that and whatever is, I truly believe, just because God found me working like hell and said, "Hey, like, here's your opportunity." You know what I mean?
Like he's scanning the globe and he's like, wait, this guy over here in this corner of the world, he is working his tail off.
Yeah, he's
I
really
think
putting it
maybe
in.
he deserves something there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that some people deserve things and some people don't. That's
Yeah,
not necessarily what I'm trying to say. I
sure.
guess I'm just trying to say, like, it needs the muse, God, whatever, needs to find you working.
Mm,
It needs to find you that you're at the thing, that you're really serious about
mm,
your craft, or you're really serious about putting your narrative out. You're really serious about, whatever it is, writing or
yeah.
painting or whatever.
That is really good advice. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for talking to me again today. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to see what you do with the exhibit and everything. Is so cool. What a great opportunity. And I'm just thrilled for you. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Thank you so much for
yeah.
having me on.
Thank you for listening to Art Talk with April. New episodes are out Tuesday at 6 p.m.